Hey mamas, have you noticed your baby having trouble feeding, latching, or even feeling uncomfortable during feeding? Maybe you've been told your baby has a tongue tie, but a release hasn't fixed the issue as you'd hoped. Today, I'm going to dive into something not often talked about: how body tension and fascia can impact feeding, and how sometimes feeding difficulties aren't because of a tongue tie at all. I'm Kaili. Think of me as the baby therapist in your back pocket. And I'm here to help you understand your baby's body and guide you to the solutions that can make all the difference. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on tips that can help you and your baby thrive. When we think of feeding difficulties, our first thought is often about the mouth, right? If a baby can't latch properly, we might think it's a tongue tie. And while tongue ties are a real issue for many babies, there's something else we should consider: body tension and fascial tightness. The truth is, the body is connected in so many ways, and tightness in the neck, shoulders, and even legs can impact how well your baby can latch, suck, and feed. One key player here is fascia. Fascia is a thin but strong layer of connective tissue that wraps around our muscles, nerves, bones, and organs. It's like a spider web that holds everything together, allowing our muscles to move freely. But when fascia becomes tight or restricted, it can limit movement and cause discomfort, which can impact even the smallest movements, like sucking during feeding. For babies, body tension, whether it's in the neck, in the shoulders, or even the legs, can affect how they latch and suck. Fascia connects the tongue to the hyoid bone, which is a small bone in the neck. If there's tightness around the hyoid bone, it can restrict how the tongue moves. This can mimic tongue tie symptoms, even though it might not be a tongue tie at all. Have you noticed your baby struggling with feeding or sucking? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. One fascinating thing about fascia is how interconnected it is throughout the body. There's something called the deep front line of fascia, and this connects from the tip of the tongue all the way down to the tips of our toes. That means that tension anywhere along this line, whether it's in the neck, in the hips, or even somewhere the shoulders or the ankles or the toes, can restrict how your baby's tongue moves. This tension can mimic the signs of a tongue tie, like trouble latching, poor milk transfer, or even reflux. For example, if your baby has tightness in their neck or their shoulders or their stomach area or even hips, it could be pulling on the fascia that's connected to the tongue. This limits how the tongue can move freely, affecting how well your baby can latch or even breathe while feeding. Did you know fascia connects the entire body like this? Let me know if this is new information for you. It's amazing how the body works. If you think body tension might be affecting your baby, I've created a resource just for you: the Baby Body Bliss Guide. This free guide walks you through how to assess your baby for body tension at home and gives you simple exercises that you can do at home to help release that tightness and improve your baby's feeding and overall comfort. You can download it for free using the link in the description below. This is why sometimes a tongue tie release doesn't bring the big improvements parents are hoping for. Because the issue wasn't just in that frenulum under the tongue, but throughout the entire body's fascia system. If your baby has tightness along their fascia and it's not released, then even if you do a tongue tie release, the results might not be as effective. And that's because the underlying tightness in the body is still pulling the fascia, limiting the tongue's function. This is why I always recommend getting body work done before and after a tongue tie release to make sure the body is functioning optimally. If body tension or fascia tightness is part of the problem, the good news is that body work can make a huge difference. Gentle bodywork modalities like craniosacral therapy, pediatric osteopathy, and even pediatric chiropractic care can really help release that tight fascia and improve muscle function, allowing the tongue to move more freely. Have you ever tried bodywork for your baby? If so, how did it help? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what worked for you and your little one. One of the reasons I love working with mamas and babies is helping you understand the root cause of the problem. And here's the thing. Sometimes what looks like a tongue tie is actually just body tension. When fascia is tight in certain areas, it restricts the tongue's movement. It mimicking the symptoms of a tongue tie, like trouble latching, or that poor milk transfer that I mentioned, or even reflux because of the increased air intake. The fascial tightness can also cause discomfort, making it harder for your baby to relax during feeding. By working with bodywork professionals trained in craniosacral therapy or osteopathy, you can help release these restrictions and support your baby's feeding journey, but also their overall development, which is one of the reasons bodywork should be a part of your baby's care before and after a tongue tie release, but also just in general, if you are noticing any difficulties with things like gas, digestion, sleeping, developmental milestones, or just have a fussy baby in general, bodywork releasing might be the key. By releasing the fascial tightness in the body, under the tongue, and elsewhere along that deep frontal line of the body, you may even find that things like a tongue tie release are no longer necessary. And if it is still necessary, it will be a much more effective release. Post-release bodywork is so important as well because it ensures that the fascia and the muscles can adapt to the new tongue movement. This holistic approach is what gives your baby the best chance at feeding success without ongoing discomfort. Have you ever heard about doing bodywork before and after a tongue tie release? It can really make a big difference. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's why it's crucial to work with professionals who understand the difference and can assess your baby's whole body, not just what their tongue looks like and what their mouth is doing. By doing so, we can avoid unnecessary procedures and focus on releasing the real issue. Before I go, don't miss next week's video. I'm going to dive more into specifically craniosacral therapy, and we'll talk about why craniosacral therapy is crucial before and after a tongue tie release to help your baby get the best possible results. Thanks so much for watching, mamas. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with another mama who might need it. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced this body tension with your little one. And be sure to check out my other videos for more tips on baby feeding, sleep, and development. See you in the next video.